Hey there, Gemini. It's Amanda Beach with Cosmic Beach Consulting, and here's your Cosmic Surf Report for July 2016. Starting off in July, we have a beautiful new moon in Cancer on July 4th, and for your first week of July, Gemini, we see you coming at it with all the fire. Mars retrograde is over, and while that does not mean that Mars has returned to full speed in the skies, that does mean that Mars is direct and picking up speed throughout the month. Unfortunately, the first week, Mars is still spending time in first gear. However, for you, little Gemini, you don't even need half that energy because you're already on your way. As soon as you get the hint of momentum, off you go. I see this week being a big one for communications, possibly some travel. Of course, it is summer. And also you spending a lot of time, I see people, like lots of people. And of course, being the twins, you always have to have someone at your side. But I could see new networks being built. Social purging is a huge theme across the zodiac for the whole summer. So that'll be a new alignment between old networks and new networks, saying goodbye to old tribes and welcoming new ones. And so for you, I could certainly see you being quite the social butterfly. Also paying attention to new messages and new communications. Maybe some things have been stalled in the past couple of months, and you're going to start to see some relief when it comes to hearing back from people, some clarity when it comes to some situations you're trying to solve, and overall, a pretty fast-moving first week of June. Moving into the second week, we see you, maybe you're starting to focus on some more financial endeavors. Perhaps June was a little airy for you, not as connected to the ground. I know someone once who told me that she hadn't touched the ground since 1975 and the ground didn't like it any more than she did, which she was a Gemini. And I totally understand that. I can see that for you guys. However, in the second week, I do see us kind of looking at how we're going to make our fortune, where we want to put our energy. Maybe we're looking at how we want to spend the rest of the summer for those Geminis of you that are teachers. Maybe you've spent the first half of the summer hustling and you want to take the rest of the summer off and really enjoy the fruits of your labor. Or if you've spent the first part of summer partying your little Gemini pants off, perhaps it's time for you to sit down and look at like, hey, what kind of side hustle can I do to make up for this? Or how can I pay this down? Or what opportunities are available to me because of the season that I can take advantage of? So I really see some business hustle in the second week of July for you. And then we're moving in the third week, and people are everywhere this month for you, Gemini. I wouldn't be surprised if for lady Geminis, there might be some boys on the horizon. If you're already committed, there might be some more of a focus on your relationships. For male Geminis, I see a lot of energy too. Maybe you're actually finally connecting with like a former social group, or maybe you're out there networking with some new people. But there's just lots and lots of people coming in, and they're bringing everything that people have to offer. They're bringing messages, they're bringing feelings, they're bringing work. They're bringing real work for some of you. But overall, just lots and lots of people. And the third week of July is no different. We have that beautiful full moon in Capricorn. So everybody's going to be kind of looking over their view, deciding if they're high enough, and the levels they need to be in, where they need to move on to. And your definition of success never has to be anybody else's, Gemini. That's one of my favorite things about you. I spend a lot of time with Geminis, and they're one of the easiest people to please with their own truth. And that might be the case for you. While everyone else is kind of climbing the rocks and trying to be the goat that is Capricorn, you're over here like, actually, I'm cool. I'm on the beach and there's a beautiful breeze. I'm doing my thing. But I also see some opportunity for some emotional renewal for you in the third week of July. And the full moon does bring it out for some people. And then this one in Capricorn ruled by Saturn. So maybe there's been some harsher lessons. I know that the first couple of weeks of June weren't super easy for Gemini. There was a lot of activity, a lot of chaos, a lot of external stimulation. Normally you do great with that, but there's a Gemini burnout to worry about. So the third week I do see you kind of maybe taking a step back, or really kind of getting in touch with some feelings you've been delaying, which can happen. When you're busy in the clouds, it's hard to notice what's going on the ground. And I think that's something else too, is like, we might be looking at confronting an emotional issue, or like I said, looking at something that we've compartmentalized. I think that's going to be a big focus for the third week for Gemini. And then we're moving on to the 4th week, and I still see this as being an emotional week for you. However, I see this being a week of more of triumphs, more analyzing where things are coming from, why are they coming my way, really starting to see like the map, you know, seeing the origin as opposed to just the end. You know, when Columbus discovered America. When Columbus sailed to America, that's better. You know, he thought he was in India, but it turns out that he was, you know, in the Caribbean or whatever. And, you know, to him, he was like, cool, I did it, awesome. But like what he wanted and how that started out wasn't necessarily how it ended up, even though it was a great discovery. And so that's kind of the theme for you, Gemini, in the last week. That's a messy metaphor, but it's really like, oh, I thought I was going to sail to Iceland, or Greenland, but I'm in this place called Iceland, and it's actually awesome, and it's green. Is that how that goes? So, you know, when you're looking at what you thought things were going to be and what they are, there's a lot of fluidity when it comes to outcomes for you in the 4th week of July. And there's also a lot of understanding, like internalization is a huge theme for you. So like basically if you've been hoarding up a lot of feelings, if you've had a case of the feelings and you haven't been like acknowledging it, you know, for the last like 8 to 10 weeks, these are the last 2 weeks of July are when you're really going to feel that, Gemini, which is tough because the duality, you have 2 personalities, it's hard. So overall, you know, a great month, lots of people, lots of communication, really looking at some foundational things, getting back in touch with the ground, getting back in touch with yourself, and really expanding on the emotional front when it comes to the last 2 weeks of July. And yeah, and if you want to check out some other astrologers, check out who I subscribe to, and you can check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/Cosmic Beach Consulting. I post everyone I follow there pretty regularly. There's so many great astrologers and readers, and I'm one of them, so please subscribe, and I will see you guys in August. Thanks so much, Gemini. Have a great month.